Hello, and you're very welcome back to the Public Eye Business Podcast brought to you by Granite Exchange. I'm your host, Sarah Travers, and as always, throughout the series, I'll be speaking with local entrepreneurs and business owners to learn more about how their companies have come to be, to gain insight into their growth, and find out, crucially, how they continue to innovate. So, wherever you get your podcasts from, remember to keep an eye out for all new episodes and subscribe to stay up to date. Well, today I am thrilled to be joined in the studio by Tasso Papadopoulos. What a name. And Tasso is owner of Blueberry Hearing Services Limited. Welcome to the podcast studio, Tasso. How are you today?
I'm very well. Nice to meet you, Sarah.
Nice to meet you. And you're all in your blueberry scrubs at the minute. You've literally come straight from the clinic.
I just left the clinic to come and meet you, and so we can do this.
Well, we will not keep the patients waiting, but it is so great for you to share your story today. And I suppose before we begin, I'll give a little bit of background on Tasso. So Tasso is a key figure at Blueberry Hearing Services Limited, which is a company known for providing advanced hearing solutions. With extensive expertise in the hearing industry, Tasso plays an instrumental role in offering tailored hearing care services. His commitment to improving the quality of life for individuals with hearing challenges has been central to the company's mission. Known for his professionalism and customer-focused approach, Tasso helps his clients navigate hearing health through personalised assessments, technology, and support. And that's really key, isn't it, Tasso, that support? Because hearing and losing your hearing is something that people don't cope very well with. And, you know, you're losing a little part of your identity.
It's much more than that, Sarah. Losing your hearing, you're just cutting yourself off from society. Because if you cannot be part of the conversation and everything like that, you're going to withdraw more and more because you're not going to be able to understand people what they're saying. And there is a big effect on social isolation and everything else that will come from that.
And relationships as well. You know, people can be impatient. The person who, you know, can't be heard, and then the person who can't hear. And whose fault is it?
Whose fault is it? That's a very good question, Sarah. But relationships, you're completely right. The majority of all my patients is basically the partner that had enough of it and then grabs the partner by the neck and brings them in and say, no, do something about it.
And I suppose people are fearful then that, gosh, am I going to need a hearing aid and that's going to be a part of my life, and will I be able to cope with that? But what message would you give to someone who is perhaps experiencing problems with their hearing?
Okay, that is a very interesting question in the sense that, first of all, there's still a big stigma attached to hearing loss and hearing aids. People think that hearing aids are these big, ugly things that we remember from our grandparents or parents, that they're whistling all the time and then they wear them, but it doesn't make any difference and everything. Nowadays, hearing aids have advanced so much, and we'll come back to that later on if you want to, is the fact that even people with no hearing loss, they want the hearing aids. Because, by example, I wear a pair of hearing aids, and my hearing aids, if I go on holidays, I don't have any more problems. They translate over 70 languages live in my ears.
What?
So somebody can speak to me in Chinese and I will hear it in English.
Stop it.
They connect to my phone, to my car sat-nav, to my laptop and everything. Hearing aids is a completely different world than what people think.
So instead of it being intrusive, it's actually enhancing your life?
Definitely.
Right. Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up, and that's a good place to start, Tasso. Yes. But how did the hearing journey and being an audiologist start for you?
For me, it was a long time ago now. My father had problems with hearing, and one of my friends had just become an audiologist. And I called him, and he assessed my father, and then my father needed hearing aids. And my friend said to me, you should come and see me in my clinic because that will be amazing for you to become an audiologist. And in my late 40s, I just went to see him, and the rest is history.
In your late 40s, you took up this incredible career?
Yes.
Right. So what were you doing before then?
Before that, oh, that's a really good question. Like I said, I studied to be a maths and science teacher, so I was teaching in England for a while, but also I had an entertainment company where I was doing corporate events and DJing and things like that.
You have had a very varied career. So when you, I suppose, decided to take this on and become
Yes.
an audiologist, was it something you took to easily? Did you love it?
I thought it was amazing because for the first time in my life I was able to help people. And the satisfaction of getting somebody in front of you that really struggles with life, really struggles communicate, and being part of his social circle, family and friends and everything like that, and then suddenly you give them back their hearing. That's literally the word, is giving back the hearing to somebody, and then suddenly all the family can communicate. That person is changing their life, basically, from one day to the next. It's not always very easy to get used to. It's not like glasses, but my God, it is a life-changing moment, and that is amazing.
And every time it's
Oh,
amazing.
yes. And you still live that over and over and over again with all the patients that you have.
So what training do you need to become an audiologist?
The training is a different level for different type of audiology. So we are private audiologists and what we're called hearing aid dispensers, and that's a protected title in the UK. So you cannot be a hearing aid dispenser if you've not done the studying, and then you're registered with the HCPC, the Healthcare Professionals Council. Now, having said that, you can go to university and become more medical practitioner, where then you become an audiologist, where you're going to see children also, where you're going to see different problems, but they are medically related. We're more practically on the operational side. If you have a problem, we will sort it out with equipment. Medically, if you have a problem with medical problem, then we will refer you back to the NHS.
So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced then when you were starting out? And tell us about starting Blueberry. I love the name.
Yes, the name is very interesting. I wanted to send a positive message, okay? Because a lot of companies, they have such a negative meaning on the title of them. For me, coming to see me and do something about your hearing is your first step in a positive change in your life. And Blueberries, I sat down with friends, family, and all that, and I love cooking. So I cooked a really lovely meal, and we sat around, and after that I said, this is what cost you to give me all your ideas now. And then we threw in the air lots of names, and we decided on Blueberry because the blueberries, they're small, and so people have a preconception that hearing aids are big. No, they're small. Okay, and also they're very healthy for you. That's what we have as preconception, and that was the whole ethos behind the name. And we started from there. So it's Blueberry Hearing, healthy, nice, small, and so for you to come and see us.
And tell us how you, when this happened, when did you actually start up your own business?
I first came over from England because we were living in England at the time. And I left the family there, came over to start the company just to make sure that it was going to be successful.
Why did you come to Northern Ireland?
I came first to Southern Ireland.
Southern Ireland?
And then Northern Ireland. So the reason why is that where we were living in northwest of England, it was pretty much saturated. There was too many people there. And the Irish market in the south, there is also grants available. So we can dispense hearing aids and people can get them for free, the basic hearing aids, or get a grant towards something a bit more expensive. Northern Ireland is different. So I started in the south first, and then we came in the north for the education of my son. He went here in Newry, in the Abbey. So that's how we moved to Newry.
Oh my goodness. And I suppose we have to mention the Greek name as well. Where are you from originally?
Oh, I'm very much from Greece. I was born in northern Greece in a place called Kavala. So it's a really nice tourist spot. But I left Greece when I was very young and went to Belgium and grew up in Belgium. So I studied in Brussels University, my first studies. And then I met my lovely wife there over 40 years ago. And we went back to live in Greece. And we came to England and now in Ireland.
And are you settled here? Do you like it here?
I think Newry is pretty good, and people are nice, and the town is nice. It's on the border. For me, it's very important because I have still got a company in the south and one in the north. We have our head office in Dundalk, so it's quite handy.
And then when you did start out, what were you, I mentioned earlier, what challenges perhaps did you have to overcome to get started?
The challenges is first of all to learn the market itself. It's never easy to start up in different market. The challenges were financial as well, because you need to be able to sustain your expenses and then the family and everything. But I had a very good grounding before that. And when we came here was to find the right also partners, because we need to work through some GPs or opticians and things like that. And that's the way we started.
And then you have to build that customer base. And I suppose when you're arriving to a place and you're not from there, you've got to find those customers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Was that interesting?
So I don't really believe in a lot of marketing or crazy things or anything like that. What I think is if you offer the right service, the right care, and for us, the most important point about Blueberry Hearing Services, it's a bit something that you said in your introduction, is the care. Mm-hmm. And we are very much a family value business. So when we're going to see somebody, we're not going to just see that person and say, how much money can they spend? No, money it comes after. We need to pay for our expenses. We need to run our business.
Of course.
But the most important point is, what is your problem? Let's see what we can do. And we always ask these people to bring friends and family with them, because if somebody has a hearing problem, the family has a massive big hearing situation because they cannot communicate with that person. So if you have a hearing loss, the whole family has a hearing problem. And that's very important to understand that, and then help everybody and also help the family to overcome that.
So do you have everybody in the room at the same time, or do you separate them?
No. Thank you. No, we don't separate.
Yeah.
We try always to have everybody together, because it's also important what we say to our patients and what we discover for the family to understand, because a lot of the times the family don't understand what that person is going through. And so it's important to have the two sides together and then sort it out.
That mutual understanding then of, gosh, I hadn't realised how little that person could hear, or, I should have been more patient.
Yes.
That is a real problem.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier about technology. What role has technology played in the advancement not only of audiologist services everywhere, but indeed for your business?
For our business, technology is everything, because at the end of the day, we're going to have really good diagnostic equipment. So we only use the latest possible, and we invest heavily into that. The next thing that we've done, by example, is a 3D portable scanner to scan the ear, so we know exactly what's happening inside your ear canal, and then we can do it even more precise fittings and everything. And that costs a lot of money. 3D scanning is not easy, but that's the latest, by example. And beside that, then is the technology itself. And I'm quite fortunate that with the manufacturers that I work with, I go to a lot of training sessions and everything, and we are in the forefront of the latest development. And for the moment, there's quite a lot of exciting technology. With the inclusion of artificial intelligence, we can do much more now. And also, there is a new technology level that all the manufacturers have agreed upon. I don't know if you're aware of the old system where, for example, when you go to the church or post office or bank, they have the not Wi-Fi system, they have the old induction loops where then people can hear straight from the induction loop. That is a very old technology, over 50 years old. Now there is something called Auracast, which is the newer one, still in development. It has been developed, but it has not been deployed everywhere. But that is the next big thing.
And what will that do? Will that be how will that look?
How will that look? It instead of having the induction loop, which is a magnetic field, which is very unreliable, but that's what was there. The Auracast is based on the latest Bluetooth technology. And by example, in the same room, you can have 100 or 200 people, and it's basically casting everything, and then the hearing aids pick it up. And the people with hearing aids and Auracast, they will hear much better than you with no hearing aids. Wow. And you can have concerts, theaters, cinema, everywhere, churches, everything.
It's all about inclusion, really, isn't it?
Exactly, yes. So the world is coming better and better. But Auracast is not only for the hearing aids. Auracast will also be with your mobile phone, with everything else.
How common is hearing loss? And, there are obviously varying degrees. And what are the main causes?
Okay. Hearing loss. 1 in 6 people have a hearing loss. So in England, in the UK, over 10 million people need access to hearing care. Currently, between the NHS, because we're quite lucky on that sense, although the waiting list is very long, but between the NHS fits over 1.2 million hearing aids a year. And the private sector, about 600,000. So roughly, we can say 2 million people. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? It means immediately, if you do the maths, about 8 million people still need help and they don't get it. That's where we're up to.
Goodness.
And this is a big problem that we try to highlight with, I'm a board director of the British Society of Hearing Aid Audiologists in London, and we have done roadshows for the government, and we've been to the House of Commons, Holyrood, and here in Stormont, where I was in December presenting to the MLAs. The thing is, we're trying to highlight that, but nothing is happening yet. So, and that is something that we should be pushing much more. Now, having said that, there is also another route, like the Americans have started. They've started with what we call the OTC market, over the counter. That means that it's a newer technology that will be able to be accessible without having had a hearing test, because it takes a lot of time. We don't have enough audiologists in the country.
No, there aren't enough people to carry out the testing. So
exactly. So we are talking major problems. Okay, and there is no immediate solution, and there is not even a long-term plan as well. No. And that's where we're up to.
And is hearing loss getting worse? I mean, just tell me a little bit about the causes.
Right. The causes of hearing loss. The main cause is what we call presbycusis, which is a big word for age-related hearing loss.
Yes.
Unfortunately, hearing is the first sense that comes alive in the womb of the mother, and it's the last sense that dies with you.
Wow.
And between that, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, it never stops. With your eyes, you close your lovely eyes and then...
And they rest.
They rest. Hearing, no.
Oh, goodness.
It's all the time. Mm-hmm. So, wear and tear is one of the biggest factors, and that's the major cause Beside that is noise-induced hearing loss. And unfortunately, with the youth of today and the earpods and everything like that, we're going to have an epidemic coming soon. And
that's on the way.
Yes,
definitely.
And we're talking the two major causes. After that, there is medical causes, there is other causes, but these are the two main areas.
So if you could, obviously, that means more business, but if you actually have your head on where you're advising people to look after their ears, what recommendations would you make if you do wear earpods regularly or headphones?
My recommendation is do not wear earpods or anything, earphones in your ears.
Is that right?
Wear something similar to what we wear now.
Okay.
It's what we call supraoral, which means over the ear. Or even better, if you look at me and when I listen to music or anything like that, is what we call bone conduction. So it's the headphones that you put over, and there's two little pads, and they vibrate against your skull, and you hear the music. That's called a bone conduction headphone.
I have never heard of those. Right.
No. So just research it. Bone conduction
This is
headset.
Definitely an education, Tasso.
No problem.
So back to the business. How have you grown the business, and how would you describe that growth journey as the businessman?
As the businessman, immediately you try to identify the areas of bottleneck, basically, where even if you want to expand, if you don't do something about that, then there is a problem. And immediately, like we already said, there is a problem with staffing and everything. So I decided, as I'm already teaching and everything, so to create my own staff and educate my own staff and train my own staff. And that's where I went. And beside that, then more locations. And also with the advent of the internet, start to expand on the internet as well.
Right. So how have you scaled the business then? What does it look like now from when it started?
So when it started in the front room in my house. And very quickly, then we had a big problem with COVID, where then we were not able to get anybody in the house, and that was not possible. So we concentrated on clinics, and I started working with private medical centers and opticians. And then we moved into our head office, and now we are here in Newry, Lurgan, Banbridge, and Belfast.
That's incredible.
And as well in Dundalk.
And Dundalk as well.
Yes, and online.
You must be very proud with what you've achieved.
For me, it looks normal, but a lot of people say, yes, it's not bad.
You're very humble. And staff-wise, how many people have you got trained up now and working for you?
Staff-wise, with life, there is a lot of people coming and going.
Sure.
So we're just in the middle of a recruitment spree. So where we're going to be recruiting some more staff. So for the moment, we're 4 people.
4 people, okay. And would you recommend a job as an audiologist as well?
I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a very rewarding career. And the satisfaction you get out of that job, there is very few jobs where you can get that satisfaction of a well-done job, basically, and where people are really, really appreciative.
Yeah, and you've mentioned that right from the word go, that care, that support, that attention, at a time when people feel vulnerable. So how do you, as you grow and scale, how do you manage to maintain that high level of customer care?
I think it's, without having a big head, I think it's your own patience that make you feel like that, and wanting to continue that level of care, that level of attention to details, and that satisfaction of a job well done when somebody comes in. And trust me, the best thing is after they have been with their family and they had all these problems and they cannot communicate, you do the hearing test, and then you order the hearing aids, and they come in for the first time, and you put the hearing aids on, and then suddenly the family can speak normally and they can answer. they are so surprised. And then they go home, and we always do within 2 weeks follow-up. And the amount of people that they come back and they say to you things like, oh my God, I was in my garden and it's the first time I didn't know I had so many birds.
Oh.
I could not hear them before. Things like that. Or the leaves on the tree rustling and the wind and everything. Or even very simple, in their kitchen or in their home, they say, I didn't know that my clock was so noisy.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Sometimes the sounds are nearly too much. So is there a little bit of tweaking then that goes on?
Yes, and
for some longer tweaking than others, yes.
There's a whole program of habituation and re-education of how we hear. Because our lovely brain has a mechanism of filtering the noises that we don't need to hear. By example, our brain can hear our heartbeat or you breathing and everything. But the brain says, Sarah does not need to hear that because she's alive. So I will not bring her attention to it. And that's as simple as that. But when you put somebody the hearing aids for the first time after so long, hearing loss has not just happened. It's something that has built up over 5, 10, 15 years. And then suddenly the brain hears all that.
So you hear your heart and you hear your breathing.
Ladies,
like we've got the headphones on now, so we're more conscious of all of that.
Exactly. Ladies with your hair, just people hear their hair.
Oh my goodness!
Brushing
and
on
their
the
clothing
ear.
And
exactly, yes. And because your brain suddenly says, "Sarah, I can hear this, I can hear that," and that's what's happening.
So overstimulation, then.
But very quickly, I call it a tsunami effect. Suddenly, all the sounds come and crash into your brain. And then after a while, some people a few hours, some people a few days, some people a few weeks, all of that come back to normality. And you don't hear that anymore.
And you adjust.
Yes.
And life's better.
Exactly.
So this is a lovely interview. I'm just so enjoying learning about something I knew nothing about before. But what do you do outside of work? You've already mentioned you love cooking.
Yes, I do a lot of cooking. I love entertaining, and because I come from a family catering business where we had restaurants in Belgium and all that, and I cook a lot. And I cook for friends, or we had a massive big dinner party for 30 people in Donegal, or when I was in Greece last week, I invited all my friends and family, and I cooked a French meal for them and things like that.
Beautiful.
That relaxes me. People say, you're crazy, cooking for 30 people. But that relaxes me.
As long as somebody else does the dishes.
Yeah, I don't do dishes, sorry. I do the cooking.
But it's that connection.
Yes.
You're a people person, Tasso.
Yes, it's a social gathering, and what better to sit around the table with nice food and nice company and nice friends. I also love Formula One. I watch Formula One, and I've been to quite a few races.
You need to turn the hearing aids down for that, I'm sure.
Yes, I just take them off during the race.
Completely.
So, because people, you see, hearing aids is one thing. People say, yeah, but if you take off the hearing aids, what's happening? I say, but I'm not deaf. I have a hearing loss, so I don't hear all the frequencies. In a quiet environment, if I don't wear my hearing aids, we will be able to have a conversation. At some point, I might ask you to repeat yourself, but that's it, okay? So, and that's the big difference. Now, relaxing football, I'm a Liverpool supporter, so this year we're very happy.
That's a good one this year,
yes, definitely. And I like socializing, so I like driving, and that's...
And what drives you to keep going when you have those hard days? And we all have those too.
Oh, yes. Sarah, I don't like repeating myself, but definitely is this amazing fulfillment that you get from the reaction of somebody that has lost their hearing for so long, and then suddenly you bring back that person into the fold of the family and the social life. And those reactions, there is nothing in the world that can change that, and that's what keeps me going.
And is there a particular moment that stands out?
I was thinking about that, but honestly, there is not one. I can mention a dozen moments and more of people that I helped so much. And another person that I helped a lot was somebody with tinnitus, and she was the primary carer of her husband that had dementia, and she could not sleep at night anymore because of the sound and everything and the hearing loss. And the daughter brought that person to me, and I fitted her with hearing aids. I'm still very emotional about it and for the first time in years, she was able to sleep, rest, and take care of her husband properly.
And take care of herself.
And definitely take care of herself first, to be able to continue to take care of her lovely husband. And those moments, you can't make them.
You literally are giving people that gift of life and joy again.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. What a job. Is it too late to retrain as an audiologist? I just love what you get from your job, and
yes.
And I can hear that in the conversation today. Where next for you?
Where next for me? Believe it or not, I'm a pensioner, and next year I'm 70.
You are not. I didn't want to ask. I thought, I wonder, are we heading towards retirement?
No. I've been a pensioner for quite a while. So next year I'm 70. I'm thinking about passing on the reins to somebody else.
I think you'll have done your bit and have more time to sit and cook and eat, and time for you.
Definitely. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yes, that's the plan, but we'll see where we are in a year's time.
Exactly.
But I wish you every success for what's ahead and that big birthday. There's one final question that I ask to all the guests, and it's about that idea, that advice that you would give to people who may have a business idea, but have no idea where to begin or are unsure as to whether the risk is worth taking.
For me, the answer is very, very simple. Okay? If you are really passionate about something and you really want to make an impact in life, and that passion can very easily translate into a business idea, and then look at how you can make it happen. Okay? And definitely go ahead, try to do it, and then the rest will be history.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tasso. From Blueberry Hearing Services, all the very best for the future. I hope you enjoyed listening to that one.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a really lovely meeting you too.
Take care.
Thank you.
This podcast was recorded in Granite Podcast Studio. Interested in starting up your own podcast but don't know how? Granite Podcast Studio can help. Record your podcast in our state-of-the-art studio, which is based in the heart of Newry City. Our studio has cutting-edge and user-friendly technology and can seat up to 4 people. We also provide an editing service, where our team using your guidance and editing notes to provide you with a flawless finished product, leaving your listeners wanting more. For more information on how you can get started, visit www.granitepodcaststudio.com.